If you are someone who is actively engaged in your self-realization process, you are someone on the path of self-realization and you are struggling, have you ever asked yourself, why are you struggling? Or maybe you haven't, because somewhere there's a belief that struggle is a necessary part of the self-realization process. This might be the number one cause, the number one reason why people, or so many people, struggle on the self-realization path. Because we believe that this spiritual process, the spiritual process, has to be a struggle. It has to be hard. We have to work hard for that enlightenment. And this is a belief that has been imposed upon us in many ways throughout the decades. I certainly grew up with that idea, and probably we've made this image about those monks who go to live in caves and in the top of the mountains in order to realize their true nature. And then we made out the belief that that's the only way, that that's possible. But not anymore. The spiritual teaching has also evolved, and now we get more clarity about the whole self-realization process. And so one of the reasons why so many struggle on the self-realization path is first the beliefs, the definitions that we have about it, that literally stand in our own way to just allow it to be simple as it is, as simply as being who we are, being ourselves. So that may include lack of clear education, and this is where the Academy of Being also steps in. I truly felt that there's a need for an institution that would teach the self-realization process almost like in a school, you know, through the stages, the actual methodologies. Because another reason for why so many struggle on the self-realization path is because of the lack of clarity. There seems to not be a clear layout for the whole process. And that's something that we offer at the Academy of Being, of course. That was one of my deepest desires, to create a place for seekers, for genuine seekers, genuine true seekers on the spiritual path, on the self-realization path, where they can't find anything in one place. So lack of clarity, lack of education is another reason why so many people struggle. I know that was certainly my experience. Even though I had so many teachings to look at, I never found an essentialized layout where I can just look at it and understand, okay, this is stage 1, this is what I do in stage 1, this is stage 2, this is what I do in stage 2, and so on. And not to mention the actual method that you begin with to find yourself, because the self-realization path begins with finding yourself, not with seeking yourself. This is another misunderstanding. People think that seeking for yourself is part of the spiritual process. It is not. Actually, the spiritual process begins after you have found your true nature, after you have discovered through direct experience that I am awareness, I'm consciousness. Of course, the seeking has its own part. I'm not going to deny it. It will take you to that moment where you will have had enough of seeking and you will decide that you want to find, and then something will appear in your life that will facilitate that for you. That was my case as well. So lack of education, limiting beliefs definitions that we have about how the spiritual process should be, especially those that mention that it has to be hard, and suffering and struggling it's a necessary part of it, and that we have to do rigorous practice and all of that old paradigm mindset about the spiritual process that no longer applies. It might have been the case decades ago, but it's no longer the case. We now have the possibility to find ourselves easily because we already are that which we seek, and then diligently just align that feeling and understanding of ourselves as awareness to our body mind. Allow our body mind to that understanding and feeling that I am awareness. So that is the process of self-realization, and it has stages to it. Another reason for people struggling on the self-realization path would be the fact that the one that is doing the seeking, the one that is doing the so-called spiritual effort is actually the ego. It's that sense of a separate self that is seeking to complete itself, which will never happen, right? In order to realize who you are, that sense of separate self needs to cease to exist. So the separate self is running the effort, the spiritual effort. And that is a major problem because that's what gives rise to exhaustion, disappointment, frustration, helplessness, lack of self-worth, lack of self-confidence, guilt, shame, whatever, you name it, you know it probably if you're watching this video. It's just a source of suffering. So that doesn't need to be. We can avoid that if we just know how to go straight to being ourselves and then abiding as ourselves, so to speak, and knowing ourselves more and more and more as consciousness. And that is what's going to align our body mind to that understanding, and that's how we are going to start to operate in the world as infinite awareness rather than as a finite body mind self. Another thing that I would say is lacking from most people on the path of self-realization would be one-on-one guidance. The reason why I say this is because I have found through the years, since I've been working with so many people one-on-one, how incredibly helpful that is to have someone who can look personally at your own personal journey and just help guide you through the process for a while until you stabilize yourself within yourself and you don't need guidance anymore, or at least you just need to lay the basics. I found it so incredibly helpful, and it truly accelerates your spiritual process. So if you haven't thought about that, maybe it's worth giving it a chance, at least considering it, because that definitely narrows it down for you and just gives so much more clarity. If you have someone to speak honestly, openly about what you think, the questions that you have, the silly questions that you think you have, which are always turning out to be actually fundamental questions, just, allowing yourself to go deeper into your process with someone who can be that mirror for you, that guide. It just makes it more easier, because one of the beliefs that I used to have, that came from the belief that the spiritual process has to be a struggle, was that I have to do it alone. Nobody can, I don't want to go get help from anybody. That was such an useless belief, right? It's not true. It just can make your life so much more easier if you talk to someone. And that reminds me, in this autumn online retreat that I'm offering starting October 24th, for which registration is now open. You can go to the link below this video if this interests you, and if you want to get all of this straight, you want to get your self-realization process straight and clear and streamline it, then you're welcome to join us for the autumn online retreat. We begin October 24th, but registration closes on October 10th because there are some pre-recorded classes that you need to watch before you come on the first live call. So in this retreat, I've also included a one-on-one session for each person that joins. And there's only 20 spots available. I feel that's so incredibly valuable to be able to receive that one-on-one guidance. It's just, you can't even describe it. You just receive personal attention and personalized guidance. And if you haven't done this before, you may not understand its value, but you know how important it is when someone gives you their whole attention, and that whatever needs to come through for you, it's gonna come in that personalized way, especially for you. And that's where I found the one-on-one process is so valuable. At least to get you started, at least to help you stabilize your knowing of yourself as awareness. So that is, again, one piece that I really truly missed in my 20 years of seeking and struggling. And then I discovered how incredible it is to have one person to support you for a while in your process. It's just invaluable. So precious. So these are just a few of the main things that I found in my own experience, my own personal journey, and my experience with working with so many people along the years. And I've worked mostly one-on-one until in the past 2 years I started working with groups. And so I have a lot of feedback from people, and I find that everybody's struggling with this lack of clarity about the process, about what is ego, what is my true self, how to distinguish the two, how to abide as awareness, how to prolong those moments of being aware of myself as awareness, how to bring more peace and joy in my life. Why are things not working? Why do I feel stuck? Where do I need to go? What is the proper methodology to apply in this? All of these and more you will receive answers to when you have the clear layout of the whole process with the stages and the tools that you need to go through each stage, and just get more clarity about what this truly is, so that you can streamline your process. It's just, for me, it was so valuable and so precious to have my peace of mind about this, about knowing that I know what I'm doing, I know where I'm at, and I know what tool I need to use to move forward. It was so important to finally, after all those years of fumbling, to then feel confident that I know what I'm doing, I do see results, it's obvious transformation is happening. It's just, for me, it mattered a lot. And if you are someone for whom your peace of mind, your confidence of knowing what you're doing, your stability and reliability that you can find with this type of work that we're doing at the Academy of Being, I just feel it's priceless, truly, to have this and to go about your process in a smooth way rather than in a troubled, fumbling way. It's of course up to you, but if this speaks to you, I'm welcoming you to join us for the Academy of Being Autumn Online Retreat 2024. Is the last retreat for this year. It's only 8 weeks. Only 8 weeks. Please go check the webpage to see what you're getting. And If you have any questions, feel free to send us an email. For me, it would have been so valuable to have access to something like this when I started my spiritual process, or even at the middle of it, but I've spent 20 years struggling, so it makes sense that my deepest desire was to create a place, a school, an academy where people can actually have it all in one place and have clarity and certainty, and that will give them the peace of mind and the confidence that they're moving forward in the right direction and having all the support that they need. So yeah, I guess that's it. That's what I had to say. I hope this speaks to you. If you want to join, I am welcoming you with all my heart. It is what I'm here for. If you know people who are on the spiritual path and they're struggling, please be kind and share this with you if you feel inspired by this video. And if you want to come back for more, please subscribe so you can support this channel to grow. Thank you for spending your time with me, and I will see you in my next video.